Good morning. It's me, Pearl from Pearl in the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And I am here to take a look at the balance between divine masculine and divine feminine energies inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see reflected back to us in our outside world, in our interactions with people. And if we want to see changes happening in our environment, in how fast we are able to manifest something, we definitely need to make changes in our own energy and shifts in our own energy. So it helps us to reflect upon the state that that is in. So when I'm talking about divine masculine or divine feminine, I am not talking about gender, but you might be associating it with a specific person. But really and truly, it is your own energy. And you have to go in and discover how it is that you are doing or not doing the things that you want to see happening. All right, we're going to start with divine masculine today because he had the most cards showing when I shuffled. The songs today, there was an Aphex Twins song that had no lyrics. And then during the Divine Masculine Shuffle, there was a really melodramatic Justin Timberlake song that I have not heard before. Or if I had heard it, it was just like once or something, but it's called Living Off the Land. And it was like just, a man doing what he can kind of a thing. You'll have to go listen to it. And then after that was a song that I could not find on Instagram to put in the, because if you follow me on Instagram, you can tell when I'm going live because I will put either a live video of me shuffling, I'll shuffle actually live on Instagram, or I will put a time lapse depending on how I feel. And I did a time lapse today, and I could not find the second song, which was a song by Sante Gold called Banshee. And it was basically like it's like there's this thing that's bugging her, like that there's a banshee on her shoulder, but she's just like keeping it pushing, but she's on the edge all the time. And she's like, it's kind of like she's just trying to like throw herself into what it is that she's doing, but she can't really avoid this, like, and of course a banshee is like a terrifying wailing woman. So there's like a painful aspect of self that's bugging her. In the beginning, she's like, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Like she's frustrated with herself. She's frustrated with her situation kind of thing. But then there's also this, she keeps repeating throughout or not necessarily throughout, but at the end, well, she's repeating throughout that there's nothing she can do about it. And at the end, she says, I like what you're doing to me. So that tracks. All right. So that is where we were for the songs today. And for the Divine Masculine song, we had that Living Off the Land song, which is like, I'm working hard. I'm just a man doing what I can kind of thing. So top of the deck, overall headspace forefront of the mind for Divine Masculine is strength. And I'm using the Housewives Tarot, which is fantastic. And for strength, they've decided to use this really great Brillo pad idea that this is the strongest way to scour, to clean, to make something like new again, to make something shine, to bring out its, to take away all that isn't wanted, the waste or whatever. Because the strength card is about controlling the ego. So here we've got like controlling the mess, controlling the grease in the kitchen, There's those analogies for this deck. The Divine Masculine, for him, when I look at the rest of this thread, I see that he has rallied his strength, that he feels strong enough, that he feels like he finally has his ego under control, that he's, that beast that's within him is being tamed. And he's not going to let his pride stand in the way. He's ready. And what's he ready for? What does he feel strong enough for? The niggling thing in the back of his mind, which is the Hermit in reverse. And I love that we're seeing this Divine Feminine just like relaxing in her bath here. And the luxurious sort of like you know, she's been on her own. She's been beautifying. She's been making herself, you know, all clean. We've got this cleansing thing going on. The thing that's in the front of his mind and the back of his mind. We have this feeling that he's like, there's this absolution there, right? Cleansing, renewal, to be shiny again, to be like new. But we see him wanting to come out of his own isolation and wanting to bring divine feminine out of hers. And I see him wanting to be able to like spoil divine feminine and kind of treat her the way that she should have been treated. There's a feeling there that I'm getting of that. But this thing of like, all right, I do feel strong enough at this point to be able to bring divine feminine, which is also, remember, of course, the emotional, the sensitive, the divine feminine part of self, out of isolation, and allow her, like, not worry about my pride, not worry about my ego, allow her to be absorbably taming those things. He's comfortable with that. First thing on his mind, Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is the first thing on his mind. So I love this guy. I love this. You've got this young man, like prep school, like, you know, maybe just finished prep school, and this lovely lady, probably too old for him. It's a little bit of the oh my god, what is that movie? God damn it. Is it The Graduate? Is that what it's called? I don't know. But anyway, but you know, he's like pouring himself a glass of wine so he can buck up the courage to go, like, but he also is like so full of himself. He's like, oh, I got this, you know. I love this text so much. Oh, thank you for subscribing. I see your message there. So yes, we have him in this Knight of Cups energy, and he's ready to make this offer. He's ready to bring this cup to his divine feminine, express to her his feelings. There is a youthfulness in this card that's not as youthful as the page, of course, but still, you know, little idealistic. And I also see him needing liquid courage, or feeling like he needs liquid courage. But he's gearing up, he's preparing with that cup in hand, and he's getting into his little chariot there and heading off towards his divine feminine. I love this chariot card. I love this deck. I'm obsessed with it. You're not going to stop hearing about it for at least a week. We've got on the cans that these lovely ladies are holding, we've got risk, gain, choice, and tarot. It looks like what she's holding, though. This can over here looks like it says tarot. So it's like they're getting ready for their trip. They've got the goods that they need. They've got all the things that they need to be able to survive this trip or whatever, and they're heading off for some kind of fun day, or they've just gone grocery shopping, however you want to look at that, and they've run their errands. But we have chariot energy, which is a balance, balancing all of these things, right? Balancing choice and risk and gain, and taking the reins and giving them to the divine and allowing the divine to drive. So we feel that, or I feel that divine masculine, we, the royal we feel, I'm going to start saying that from now on, that he's in a rush to bring this cup to divine feminine. He is finally feeling in the light aspects of this energy now. We have Don Draper here, energy for sure, King of Cups. And so that's the strong, silent type for sure, although King of Cups is not going to be a philanderer like Draper. He's very loyal, and he's a family man. He's trustworthy, and he's kind, compassionate, caring, just, honorable, sensitive, psychic, all of those things. I do notice that this divine masculine does like a drink. That's definitely true for this divine masculine, because these two images really sticking out to me. So, but we see a maturation happening. We see this Knight of Cups energy once he surrendered the reins of his ego, which we also see this because this is the overall thing on his mind. Once he surrendered the reins of his ego, that actually brings him into this King of Cups energy. And what's really interesting is the way that I lay these spreads out. I have Divine Masculine on one side, Divine Feminine on the other side, and there's 6 cards. And right next to this King of Cups card on Divine Feminine side is the same King of Cups on her side. So we've got a lot of union already that I can see. This is also a shit ton of major energy for Divine Masculine. Strength, the Hermit, the Chariot, and we have Court card here with this King of Cups because he's fully maturing. The King of Cups is silent. He doesn't speak. He has to keep a certain amount of stoicism in order that he doesn't cause panic. But because we start the spread with the Knight of Cups and we have the niggling thing, the underlying thing is wanting to come out of isolation. My feeling is that we're not seeing the King of Cups here today because of the silence. We're also not seeing it's a reversal. So he's not trying to release the shadow traits of the King of Cups. We're seeing a mature Divine Masculine, and we're seeing his readiness to express because the first thing on his mind is Knight of Cups energy. And Knights have no issue with expression because they don't have to worry about the responsibilities of the king. The next thing in his mind is the same thing that was on his mind on Monday. It is in the same position that it was in on Monday, and it is the 6 of Swords. And in this deck, we are seeing a Divine Feminine walk across these blades. There's like these 3 individuals here, and she's like bye. And so traditionally, the 6 of Swords is about movement and transition. It's about having been somewhere that wasn't so great, but being able to have taken the lessons that you learned from the wasn't so great part and go to this next part of your journey, which you're uncertain about. You don't know where that is going to be. But it is definitely about having learned these lessons. And when we saw it on Monday, it was really about Divine Masculine's fears that Divine Feminine was going to walk away, that she was going to leave, because there was a lot of 8 of Cups energy in that reading. And so we had a scared Divine Masculine. We see a cautious Divine Masculine. We see he's not necessarily scared anymore. Like when I'm grabbing this card, I'm not feeling the same kind of panic I was feeling when I was seeing this Divine Feminine with her suitcase, like packing up and leaving. Instead, I'm seeing more of a calm energy that there's a caution here that is like, I better have learned my lesson. And if I don't give this cup to this Divine Feminine, I will be saying goodbye to her. I know for sure, because she should move on if I'm not going to do this. But I am going to do it because I'm a mature king and I've got my shit together. And so it's going to be fine. Okay. So I'm going to do it, but I'm not as worried. I'm not as afraid. I'm a little afraid of her rejecting me. I'm a little afraid about talking to her about the lessons I learned, which happened to have involved third-party energy that I'm not super stoked about talking to her about. So I'm uncertain about what's going to happen once I give her this cup, but I'm definitely making a move. And the greatest card in the deck, the Temperance. Another major arcana energy, clarifying the Chariot. And the Temperance card in this deck is, of course, this beautiful mixer with all of these amazing ingredients. We have justice, we have instant anger, we have sorrow, no baked sorrow, we have joy, new joy, happiness, joy by the spoonful. All of these things are mixed together, creating a perfect balance, which will be the foundation of our cake or whatever it is that we're making. And it's a card about patience and balancing. It's about the divine energy that does that balancing for us on our behalf. And both of these cards are about that. So there's definitely a Divine Masculine here who has very wisely surrendered his healing and his forward motion and progress to the divine. And the last thing on his mind is he's being very patient with himself. He's learned his lessons, but he feels patient with himself because he's understanding that as this Page of Cups who he is no more. Now he has become a king. He recognizes this in himself. Um, he still has this heart-centered true love, and he wants to make these apologies from this Page of Cups energy regarding what is going on with Divine Feminine. That's all very true. But he's matured now. He's become the King of Cups. He's released his anxiety about not being able to know entirely what to do with his feelings and emotions and his love. And he's releasing his fears in regards that he's not going to be able to handle what it is that he desires, which is to have this true love really reach its fulfillment. The top of the deck. Oh, also, I should say we have a lot of overfeeling going on for both. There's a lot of cards in the heart space for both Divine Masculine and Feminine. So we've got 8 for Divine Masculine, and there might be 9 for Divine Feminine. And there's only supposed to be 6. So lots going on in the heart right now. Top of the deck, overall feeling for the heart space is the 8 of Pentacles. But what I'm feeling very strongly here is that Divine Masculine has made something for Divine Feminine. He has something, he has crafted something in his career, or something that he's passionate about, even if he's not pursuing this as his career. Whatever it is his passion, he has created something for her. And he feels he wants her to appreciate it. And he also wants her to appreciate how hard he is working. That's clear from the song, right? Living off the land. Oh God. It's like embarrassing for some reason. I don't know why. But usually I'm like, JT can do no wrong for me. But when I was listening to that song, I was like, ew, this is so cheesy. Anyway. But so there's that, like, you know, I'm working as hard as I can. And it's for you. It's all for you. And I know that it causes us to have issues because of the silence that I have to maintain, or because I'm busy. And I know that makes you feel like shit, and I don't mean it to, but I just want you to know that anything I've done, anything that I've created, anything has been for the Divine Feminine to appreciate, for her. He could actually be considering dedicating something to her as well. The niggling thing in the heart space, the niggling feeling, is the Ace of Swords. So we have clarity, we have honesty, we have a willingness to be very honest with self. We have new ideas, feeling the future is on its way, and that we have clarity about what it is that we desire that future to look like. The first thing in his heart space is the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So for Divine Masculine, Page of Pentacles energy is what is always holding him back from being able to express, because Page of Pentacles is feeling like the Divine Feminine will reject his offer. Like she's going to assess it, feel that it's not good enough, and tell him to like shove off. And so he has that fear of rejection, primarily because of his own sense that he has been a Page of Pentacles, which is like loser energy. It's like small time, like not enough to offer kind of a feeling. So he's overcoming these fears, but he is worried that Divine Feminine will not accept his offer. This forward momentum, he feels this fast moving motion, it's heading towards this happiness that for him has been elusive because of his fears of worthiness, which have resulted in his fears about rejection. There's been inner child work that has had to be overcome in order for the Divine Masculine to be able to actually move forward towards Divine Feminine. And now he is feeling this fast forward motion towards his happiness. He's feeling afraid. He's not entirely sure he's completely equipped to receive it. And he's seeking a little bit more enlightenment in regards to this. He's not feeling fully enlightened as to exactly what's going to happen once this chariot, heads in the direction where he wants it to go. So he's got nervous energy here, but the Sun card is auspicious even if it's in its reverse. It doesn't mean that you're not happy when it appears like this. It actually means you have a lot of spiritual fulfillment. You have a lot of happiness here. This is more just to be able to communicate to me about how Divine Masculine is still seeking more enlightenment, because he's not entirely sure where the chariot is going to take them and like how it's going to accomplish this. But he's trying to be optimistic. He knows that he's caused Divine Feminine quite a lot of sadness because of this energy of having to do this work on her behalf. And because of having to do this work on her behalf and having to do this healing work as well, right? Because we've got this inner child that was in distress. He knows that this has caused Divine Feminine a lot of grief. And he is hoping, he's being optimistic that she can release this grief and understand that the decisions and choices he made were because he is a king, because he has to make very difficult decisions sometimes. It can't always be the way Divine Feminine wants it to be, right? It can't. Just like it can't always be the way Divine Masculine wants it to be. If he can't be with Divine Feminine, he's got to be open to the idea that Divine Feminine can be with other people, right? There are things that are uncomfortable for both of them in this situation. But Divine Masculine is really hoping that Divine Feminine can release this grief that he has caused her and understand that it was purely to bring this victory. The Six of Swords and the Six of Wands, and 6 is the Lover's card in the tarot. So we're referencing already balance, reciprocity, 6 of Wands. We're seeing strength again because this image decides to have the lion here. And we're seeing that Divine Masculine is seeing a victory within himself of having learned the lessons about what causes Divine Feminine to want to move on, and that he must allow Divine Feminine to move on if he cannot speak to her. But that's not his issue. He feels like he's going to be able to be victorious, that he is, oh my God, that he is going to be able to share this victory with her, that she is going to move with him. This Temperance card is clarified by the Chariot. So that is clarified by the Chariot and the Sun. This is so much major energy for this Divine Masculine. This is a huge shift for him. Huge. But we've got Temperance and the Chariot on both sides of Temperance. It's clarified in the head space and by the heart space. So there's so much union there. There is forward motion. We are patiently experiencing. We have surrendered and we are allowing the divine to lead, to take the lead. And oh my God, because of this, we've got this 10 of Pentacles energy. This is the overfeeling, the Tower in reverse, and the Queen of Swords. So this is what Divine Masculine is feeling. Because of my childishness, I don't know if Divine Feminine is going to accept my offer, but I cannot rebuild this tower if she blocks me, right? His concern that she will reject his offer. He's like, my happiness is 100% completely dependent upon Divine Feminine accepting this offer, because I can't rebuild the tower without her. So I need her to be discerning. I need her to be in the light traits of the Queen of Swords. I need her to be able to be understanding, to control her emotions, like command and conquer those emotions so that they don't override her ability to understand that I had to cause her grief. I had to, in order to create this 10 of Pentacles for us. I couldn't initiate. I couldn't approach you. And my true love for you had to remain hidden. And he's just hoping that she can understand this. All right, let's see how Divine Feminine is thinking and feeling today. Oof. Okay. Divine Feminine, top of the deck, overall headspace, forefront of your mind is the Four of Pentacles in reverse. We're using Mystic Mondays today against the Muse Tarot. Oh, and by the way, that last deck we used was the Cosmic Tarot. So you're working on a stable foundation because you don't feel a stable foundation. There's a little bit of that going on. But the thing that I'm much more drawn to is that you are really working on releasing an attachment to a material idea or concept or thing or person. So there has been something that you feel is limiting you, a block, and you are working to release your attachment to that thing. It is not easy. And it is something that you keep going back and forth about. Like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Am I supposed to release? I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, if I'm not supposed to do it. It's making you feel unstable and maybe even a little mentally unstable, but definitely is making you feel like you don't have a stable platform from which to make decisions or choices in regards to whatever it is you're trying to detach from. So you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Niggling thing in the back of your mind is the Tower. People always freak out when they see the Tower, but it usually indicates something that's already happened, not something that's about to happen. This is current energy that I'm looking at, so you don't have to panic in that regard. But the Tower is primarily about discomfort, and you should welcome discomfort because discomfort encourages growth. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not going to move your body, right, out of the position it's in. So, like, if I sit on top of my leg and it falls asleep, and my leg has no, my body has no way of indicating to my leg other than discomfort, indicating to my brain, which isn't working very well, other than discomfort that I need to move, I would eventually cut off the circulation and my leg wouldn't work anymore. So I have to have some kind of way to communicate. It just so happens that one of the quickest ways to communicate is discomfort. Like, you're in the kitchen, you put your hand on the burner that's on, that's lit. If it didn't make you uncomfortable, you would have to eat your hand for dinner. So there's benefits to discomfort. And the quicker we react to the discomfort, right, pull away from it, the better off we are. If we're like, oh my God, my hand is burning, it hurts, and leave our hand on the fucking burner, you're going to have a pretty deep wound. But if you notice something is hurting and you get the fuck off of it, you're going to be a lot better off. The wound, not so deep, heals a little bit faster. Maybe you didn't even get a wound. Maybe you caught it in time. Maybe you're like, oh, I see. That looks familiar to me. Last time I put my hand on the burner, fucking got a blister. I'm not doing that again, right? Okay. Discomfort is good. So you may have just experienced some, or you may be experiencing some. This is probably very uncomfortable. Trying to figure out exactly what to do in regards to releasing something that you're very attached to, not comfortable. You may also have experienced a Tower moment that has caused you to want to release this. Just be like, I can't anymore. I'm fucking done. I'm letting this go, right? So there could be that too. But the Tower, as you recall, was also over here in Divine Masculine side in reverse. And for you, it's upright because you can rebuild. You are releasing what it is that you're attached to. It's uncomfortable to do that. But once you have done that, then you can shift into the stable energy, the foundation that you need to rebuild a much more practical, useful structure that is not going to crumble at the first signs of distress. First thing on your mind, as you may remember, I did mention already, King of Cups. So you're thinking about a specific iteration of the Divine Masculine. I usually don't associate specific iterations with Cups energy because that's very ethereal. That's feeling, that's emotion. But the fact that we're seeing it in Divine Masculine side means there's a match here. So it's likely there is an individual who is a match to you. You're thinking about him. You're thinking about his the wonderful, the light traits of him, but you are thinking about the silence as well. You're thinking about how this cup he keeps to himself. I'm also drawn to the fact that he appears like King Triton energy, and I did a shadow work DI on Monday where I had to go talk to my most successful self, whatever. And then I was supposed to ask that higher self what my block was currently. And that bitch told me mermaids. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Mermaids? So I came up from that and I was like, I'm going to have to do that again because how can that be my block? But then I thought about it and I was like, wait, when I was little, my favorite story that I had, my grandma would read me was from my Hans Christian Andersen book of fairy tales. And I loved The Little Mermaid and I would always swim in the pool and swimming was a big thing for me. And then obviously the Disney movies. So my friend and I watched The Little Mermaid. And I took notes afterwards. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. There was a ton of blocks in there for me to see. And I could see them because I could see how when I was a child, I learned something that wasn't true. And it became a block for me later. So it's really fascinating. But the fact that he looks like King Triton is funny because I said to my friend that was watching it with me, I was like, bitch, I'm not going to lie. I always thought when I was a kid that King Triton was hot. He was I remember being like, I'm attracted to King Triton. I don't know what it is. He's pretty hot. So it's funny that this is King Triton-esque. And also reminded me to talk to you about this mermaid energy, which was interesting. Because think of some of the things from The Little Mermaid that obviously she was not satisfied in her own world. Here, I'll share it with you because I thought it was interesting. And for those of you who liked that story when you were younger, Ariel wasn't happy in the moment or appreciative of her own world. She was only satisfied by having access to Eric's world. She was in a constant state of dissatisfaction, and she was willing to give up her one gift, her voice, literally her voice, in order to try to achieve access to land, be able to walk on the land, so to come into his world, and Eric. So that she would be willing to give up her voice to be able to do that, who she saved from death multiple times. She would stop at nothing to get to Eric, leaving everything she had, home and family, to be with him and risking losing her soul even. Ursula, this was really fascinating for me. Ursula has my body. I was watching her, I was like, girl, that's what I look like now. I'm thick as fuck. I look just like Ursula. She is sexy, powerful, and terrifying. The only way for her to get what she wants is to steal the beautiful voice from Ariel and a thin, pretty frame from another woman with which to ensnare Eric. She has to blackmail Titan for his crown. She must be evil to be successful. So that's what I learned about fat women, by the way. Eric was captivated by Ariel's voice. That was how he recognized that he loved her, when he discovered that the woman who had stolen Ariel's voice and tricked him was really a fat, evil queen. He killed her with a bow. Still dead about that. I was like, bitch. When he found out she was really fat, he killed her with a bow. In the end, Ariel's true love made her worthy of her legs and her dream to be human. so she could finally walk out of her world and into Eric's and marry him. Okay, y'all, whatever fairy tales you used to like, go back and watch it or read it or whatever way you interacted with it multiple times as a child. Also, I read the first one. The first one's really disturbing. She literally dies for her own dad. Like, she's like, okay, well, you know what? I'll give up everything and die for my father. So pick apart those messages you get from childhood, because there's a lot in there about what you think is appropriate and how you should behave towards a masculine energy, towards the feminine energy, towards individuals who looked like you, right? They made you have these ideas about what you should be like or have to be like or are like because of what you look like. It was formative. So pick that stuff apart. Hey, the next thing on this divine feminine's mind is the Empress. I love that the first thing on her mind is the King of Cups. But the next thing on her mind is, I'm the Empress. Of course, I'm going to attract this King of Cups. Of course, I'm going to see this loving, kind, compassionate, caring energy that's going to protect me and take care of me, like, and be a part of my world. Of course, I'm going to attract that. I'm this, right? So she's feeling in her Empress energy at the moment, which is why she's releasing her attachment. And I also think we're seeing what she's releasing her attachment to. A specific divine masculine who's not treating her like an Empress at the moment. So the next thing is the Six of Cups in reverse, releasing her past, releasing the nostalgia, releasing this need for the reunion, because she's already an Empress, right? She's trying to release this attachment to this King energy so that she can rebuild, release this past energy. There could be past marriage contracts too. We have the Hierophant. So for those of us that were married at some point and have experienced an end to our marriages, it could be about this energy. You could be associating this. This might be a different divine masculine than the current one you're trying to attract, or this could be one that you have had a separation from in the past that involved a legal contract. But it's also about the divine feminine releasing her attachment and her past necessity to marry this King of Cups. Why does an Empress, what the hell does an Empress need with the King of Cups? She doesn't need a King of Cups. She's an Empress. If an emperor wants to come along and join empires with her, maybe she's open to it. But like, she doesn't need it. And so she's trying to release this attachment and become unblocked. Here's the Five of Wands. She wants to fully unblock the power that she has. And she is doing that right now, which is making her victorious. We're seeing the Six of Wands for both of them in union. The good news is there's a lot of union between them. So, divine feminine, you're on the right path. Your victory is over your past. And this could be also, it doesn't have to be about a twin flame that you're currently thinking about. It's very possible that this past energy that's been released that has turned you into an Empress, you have unblocked. And that is about a past marriage and not about divine masculine in this current spread. Very possible that you could interpret it that way in this reading. However you want to look at it, you've released your attachment and you can rebuild this tower now, which is really fucking exciting. Top of the deck, overall heart space for you is the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So again, we're releasing this attachment to a specific iteration of the reward that we're after. This is also a card about self-indulgence. So you could be a little bit too self-indulgent right now. There could be that. There's always that warning when we see that Nine of Pentacles like that. But because we're seeing the Four of Pentacles in reverse, and we're seeing the Tower, and we're seeing the Five of Wands in reverse, this unblocking, and we're seeing victory, I feel very confident that really what it is a victory that you're achieving over really needing this specific person or thing. You had this idea. You were like, nope, I won't be happy unless I have the pink car. Has to be pink. And you go to the dealership and they're like, hey, we've got a blue car. And you're like, no, I wanted a pink one. And you leave the dealership. The next one you go to, they come out and they're like, hey, listen, every one of the specs that you had, we've been able to fulfill them. We've got this, we've got that, we've got this, we've got that. But it's white. And you're like, no, I said fucking pink, man. Why'd you even go through all the other shit that you had? I don't need that other shit if I don't have this shit. And so then you go to the next dealership and you just kind of have this keep going on and on and on. Finally, exhausted at this one dealership, they're like, look, every single specification you've asked for it, but there's we could paint it pink later, but right now it is like this like rose gold sparkling champagne color. And you're like exhausted. So you're like, okay, just let me see it. And then you look at it and you're like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I didn't know because I had in my mind that I wanted like a pink and I didn't realize that it would be look so much more beautiful if I just opened myself to receiving something that was even better. This is pink. It is. It's better than pink, right? Also, can I have that car and can it be a Bentley? So that's the feeling of the heart space. It's like, okay, I'm going to accept this however this comes. And I'm just going to, I'm not attached to what it looks like. I'm not attached to its specifications anymore. What I'm attached to is its essence. What I'm attached to is myself. There's also an element here that you're not single anymore. There could be some of us that have moved into relationship, and that's why they're feeling victorious. They've released the past energy, and they started to see someone new. They're feeling pretty good about it. They're rebuilding a tower. Great. There are others who have decided to remain, even if they are single at this point, they're staying off the market. They don't want to be dating yet. They're not ready. So there could be that meaning too in the heart space. The niggling thing, Queen of Cups in reverse. So we do feel like we're a little bit emotionally reactive, and there could be some emotional manipulation going on, or at least an acknowledgement of it. But I think more it's that there's a lot of emotion involved in releasing an attachment to a specific person. And so you're feeling maybe a bit overwhelmed by that, actually. And that's really what is a stronger message for me from this niggling feeling. Because the first thing in your heart is an awakening. And when you experience an awakening, this would equate, this is the Muse Tarot, and it would equate to the Judgment card in Smith-Waite imagery. But when we experience an awakening, first of all, it's uncomfortable, like that tower energy, number one. Number two, it brings out in us quite a lot of emotion. It causes us to feel pretty moved, right? The awakening that Divine Feminine has had has been in regards to this King of Cups energy. Now, there's forgiveness energy and absolution here. There's this like opening your eyes and seeing very clearly this king and understanding all aspects of him, that he's very lovely, but he's very silent, you know, and either forgiving him or yourself for your attachment. But there is reconciliation and absolution in this. There's so much union in the spread. The next thing we have is the Chariot. And there's this one too. So 3 out of 4 decks coughed up the Chariot today. And sorry, I'm trying to put things back where they belong. Okay. It is clarifying the Empress. So Divine Feminine is feeling a little bit arrogant. She's feeling a little bit of her ego right now. But she is feeling that she's the one who's kind of stopped the motion of the Chariot. She's kind of done that because of the awakening that she's had in regards to this King of Cups. This is an energy of like, he's nice, but he's no emperor, you know? In his light traits. He's like a silent king. Like he's like a nice guy. Like he's not doing anything. He's not moving. There's no motion. Nothing is happening. I'm stuck here. I'm an empress. I'm fixed. I'm rigid. And what am I doing? I am waiting. This reminds me that this past week I did a hard work and I put all my songs all together for my whole record. And I just, for the hell of it, lined up the major arcana with the order of my tracks. And it works. Like the song for the Empress card, the lyrics are about waiting. And I like it works down the entire thing. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Because I had no idea that I didn't do that on purpose, but I did it, I guess, not on purpose, but the spirit moves you to do those things. But that Empress energy of waiting, this is definitely the feeling I have from these two cards together like this. She is waiting. Look what she's waiting for. This stampede. This is no ordinary chariot. We're not trying to wrangle like two sphinxes here. We're trying to wrangle a stampede of horses. So when this does happen, when she is ready to give birth to this creation, bitch, look out. 10 of Cups in reverse. This is the realization. When I was holding on to the past, what I was holding on is the potential for a future that didn't exist. That's all I was holding on to. So that's what she's releasing. She's releasing the potential future. She's like, I'm attached to the pink car, and I need to release that potential future and be open to another color. Not because I can't have what I want, but because maybe there's something better than what I want. The Hierophant in reverse, this is being clarified by this 8 of Inspiration or 8 of Wands energy, along with Judgment, the King of Cups, and along with Judgment and the King of Cups. So we are seeing here that maybe she's expecting messages in regards to a legal judgment regarding a King of Cups. This could be for those of us that I referred to that have past legal contracts. They're waiting. Maybe you're waiting for the results of those contracts to happen. You're seeing this motion actually come. You're feeling like there is this motion, and we're actually going to finally be able to see this and have a resolution. And then we're seeing the Death card in reverse, not blocking, interesting choice of words, clarifying the 5 of Wands, which is in reverse, which was blocking the Empress energy from before. This is what Divine Feminine is feeling a shift happening with. But we have this, it's not over feeling of the heart space. So there is this sense that this motion in regards to this legal contract, it's heading towards this place where we will finally be able to be reborn into something new. What happened in the past, that is ending, and something new will be reborn. So she's unblocked because she feels like this waiting that she's happening, it will finally be over. Currently, it's not over though. And that's why we're seeing the card in reverse. Like currently, she's waiting. And this is the noise coming from the heart space. The first thing we have is victory from the head space being clarified. So 6 of Wands being clarified by the 9 of Swords. So this is anxiety, worries, sleepless nights. So she is worried that this Divine Masculine coming in his Knight of Swords energy is not coming swiftly enough. Ace of Wands in reverse. Followed by the Knight of Cups in reverse. Okay, so Divine Feminine's victory, this is so interesting, is over realizing that this past energy of thinking of when is he going to come? Is he going to come? When is he not going to come? Is he coming? Is he going to tell me how he feels? Is he just going to come and be inconsistent? Is he going to do what I want? Is he going to do what he wants? Is he just going to be here in sexual energy? Is he going to That is what she is victorious over. These are the fears she has. These are the things that have kept her up at night, and she's releasing them. Because all of these things she's realizing are just thoughts. They're just ideas. They aren't material. There's nothing material here. It's all immaterial. Just worries, just fears, not real. Because in truth, divine masculine's Knight of Cups is upright. So she doesn't even have anything to be worried about. But the triumph in her headspace is over this. That she's like, nah, I'm good. I'm not thinking about that stuff. Doesn't concern me. I don't care. Let's go look at the oracles. We had a super reasonable amount of oracles today. Divine masculine, not top of the deck for you, but the archetype card for you. You are inhabiting the light traits. Oh my gosh, I can't freaking talk today. The shadow traits of the rescuer. So right now you are assuming that the rescued one will reciprocate and keeping the rescued one needy. So you're a little bit in that damsel energy, like thinking that divine feminine is a bit of a damsel at the moment, needs to be rescued from her isolation a little bit, but then look at her. I mean, she's okay. She's doing okay. She's pretty comfy in that bathtub. I don't know. She's kind of got this little spa experience going on. So, maybe check yourself before you wreck yourself, but you should be in the light attributes, which is providing strength and support to others in crisis and acting out of love without no expectation of reward. So this could be also not in regards to divine feminine energy. It could be in regards to others in your life that you might be keeping certain people needy or assuming that you're going to get some kind of reward if you're doing these things for others. And you just have to do things for others because it's nice. St. Padre Pio is here to support you in this healing energy. And there's that cup there, that Ace of Cups energy being filled by the divine. It's like you have assistance in this filling your cup with enough love to be able to share. You're going to lighten your load again. And I feel this is so much about just being willing to share with divine feminine. You're very afraid to burden her. First of all, you're under the misconception that she can't handle it, which no. And there's you don't want to burden her, which is nice of you, but in doing that, you're sort of burdening her because you're not giving her the option to tell you, I don't think I can handle this, or like maybe you should sort that out and then keep my number. You need to give her that choice, and you're afraid to because you think that she's going to reject you. That's clear. You think that you're going to, if you say like, I have this going on and I have to do this first, that she's going to be like, yeah, no. But that's because of your trust issues and your abandonment issues. And so you have to heal those wounds. But I do think you need to lighten your load and just be willing to share with divine feminine the experience that you're having and allow her to either choose to help you carry that burden and lighten your load, or establish a healthy boundary for herself and say, you know what, babes, I can't do that for you. But you are making all the decisions and you're taking on all of the burden of all the responsibility, and you're doing it unnecessarily, which is putting you into this martyr kind of a phase where you're like, nobody values me. Like, I'm doing all these things and nobody cares, because you have this expectation that you're going to get a reward, but you're doing something that nobody asked you to do. So be less arrogant, and you're working on that, right? With your strength card and your chariot card, you're definitely working on that, but be a little bit less arrogant in regards to the idea that only you can carry this load. It's time to release negativity. This was in its reversal. I feel like this is telling you that you have been doing this. So it's to like encourage you and say, not be like So you're like, oh God, I just release negativity more. Like, come on, you know? No, it's like you've been doing this. Continue to do this. Like keep nurturing this new aspect of self where you are not always allowing those negative ideas and fears to rule. You need protection right now. So protect yourself, call back your power, cut the cords. There's someone in there, there's someone in the mix that is not benevolent, and you just need to protect yourself energetically. Ask for protection. You are protected, you are safe and protected, but just cut the cords with some individuals that are less than savory that are in your circle right now. You're getting giraffe spirit. See the big picture. And you're getting the protection message. This is from the Colette Baron Reed deck. It says, are you sticking your neck out too far, reaching too high instead of looking around you to see conditions on the ground? Your devotion to co-creating something new is admirable, but giraffe spirit is showing up to remind you that you have to look at the whole picture, not just those tasty leaves at the top of the tree. Perspective is necessary now, and that means checking in with what is going on around you and at your feet. Or perhaps you are ruminating over the worries of the world instead of paying attention to what you can do right now, where you are, to bring about the changes you would like to see. Align with your highest good and know that while perspective is important, transformation begins where you are. Do not get so far up in the clouds thinking about all the big problems that you lose perspective and forget to do your part, however small it may be, to start enacting change. For transformation starts with you. So stop worrying so much. Stop worrying so much. You're really good at thinking of all the things that could possibly go wrong. Just focus on what is happening right now, in the moment, in this moment. Divine Feminine, you are in the shadow attributes of the Fool, girl, and you do not like to feel this way. You do not like to feel foolish. You are using humor to wound rather than liberate, but I don't see that. To me, it's the second part, a denial of your emotional truth with humor. What? Using humor to deny my feelings or minimize them or make it seem like I'm completely fine when I'm actually really not? Weird. Come into the light. Fearlessly reveal your emotions. Fearlessly. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? I'm hoping you're moving into a place where you don't give a shit about what people think about you. If you watch me a lot, you're probably starting to feel that way because you're like, you know what? You can probably start to hear me in your mind be like, who the fuck cares? Right? Who gives a shit? Even one. So fearlessly reveal your emotion and help people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy, but not at your own expense. Don't try to make other people feel comfortable when you're upset. Allow them to hold the space for you to be upset, because I know I do that. I have some really painful, deep emotions of having been in quarantine for this long. And when I express them to people, I feel if I fully express myself, they would be shocked at how upset I was. So I'll joke about it. And I don't want them to be uncomfortable. Like, I don't want them to feel bad. Like, don't pity me. So I'll make them laugh. But that's not being entirely honest about the real deep wounds I have. So fearlessly reveal your emotions. Don't try to be responsible for other people's emotions. It's not your job. You do you. The other person does the other person. You are in the light attributes of the nature child right now, which is friendships with animals and communication with nature spirits. It's also releasing the shadow attributes, which is the tendency to abuse or neglect. And I think that's about self. So right now you're being your own companion. You may actually have animals that you're seeking companionship from, and you're in the light with that, or you may be seeking more experiences in nature. I just talked to my baby brother on the phone yesterday, and he was fishing, and he lives in northern New York. He's 22 in a couple of weeks. It's unbelievable. I was 18 when he was born, so I'm much older than him, but we were chatting, and he was walking through the woods near the river where I'm from, and the St. Lawrence River. Well, the St. Lawrence River Valley, he probably wasn't at the St. Lawrence River, but he was probably a different river near there. But regardless, he was walking through, and he sent me after the walk, like all the pictures and the video. And because I had been there with him when we were talking, it was kind of like I walked with him. It was neat. But anyway, you're doing a good job of getting that connection to nature that you need, and giving yourself the companionship and having friendships that are helping you feel good about yourself and feel fulfilled. Do you feel fulfilled? I certainly feel fulfilled today. Child energy in reverse, guardian angels supporting you in this child energy. So deep inner child wounds, healing going on. But I feel that this is just telling you, just play, just be playful, have more fun, pretend, imagine. If I'm saying that to you and you're like, okay, girl, I'll keep playing. I've been playing all the time. Then maybe for you, if you've been playing a lot and you've been really childish, maybe for you, it means grow up a little bit. Stop playing. Stop being, not taking yourself seriously, not taking your work seriously. You'll know where you fall on the spectrum of this card. But if you've been playing a little too much, dial it back. If you've not been playing enough, you've been real serious, it's time to just be a little bit more lighthearted. But everybody should be doing that inner child work. Look at this. Reconciliation. Awakening. Same meaning. Powerful to me because I want to experience a real reconciliation again, like go to a confessional and actually do it again. I haven't done it in years, and I'd be curious to experience it now in my current spiritual awareness and how I practice and how it would feel. But reconciliation for Catholics is when you go before the priest and you say, forgive me. And you're really praying to God, but the priest is praying with you. You're not praying to the priest. You're praying to God, but you're praying to the priest. Please pray with me that I have sinned, and these are the things I did. And you list the things you did. The priest listens, basically holds the space for you, holds you accountable in that moment, and then absolves you with the power of Christ and tells you to go pray mindfully and experience the joy of reconciliation. And you are forgiven. And you never have to ask for forgiveness for that particular sin ever again. If you do, what you really have to ask forgiveness for is your lack of faith that you were forgiven. You are always forgiven immediately. So Divine Feminine, there's a special message here for you about reconciliation. There is either this experience that you're seeking to have with somebody and you're receiving this message that it is happening or will happen, or that you are craving this experience yourself. But just take whatever messages resonate from you on that there is a beauty in absolution. Take time to breathe out. This is fully releasing. Releasing. When we breathe out, we're releasing all of the waste from our lungs. So make sure you do this. Make sure you fully release. If you're releasing a specific attachment, delete all the pictures. You just got to chill down your spine because you're like, I'm not doing that. Fully release. Breathe out. Detach. Creating heaven on earth. You're getting this again. It's happening. You're always getting this Lemuria card, Divine Feminine. It is happening. Just trust in that. And you're getting Beaver Spirit right now, the protection message. Lay a solid foundation. This card, lay a solid foundation, being in reverse, is like the Four of Pentacles being in reverse. You feel me? This is also a 6 card, like the Lovers. Alrighty, what does it say? I think I know what it says. It says something about rotten foundations, if I recall. Ay, ay, ay. Beaver spirit has come to warn you to check for rotten wood in the foundations of your dreams. Perhaps you built your hopes on faulty promises or wishful thinking that something would work out just because you wanted it to. I don't even want to keep reading this card. Maybe you made choices from a place of unworthiness, hoping that once you got what you desired, it would somehow change you and make everything better. And you had to face the truth that it didn't. Or Beaver Spirit may be telling you it is time to accept things as they are and perhaps consider abandoning the project, relationship, or situation so you can make room for something better. Perhaps you need to go back and rebuild a solid foundation because what you desire may not be in alignment with what your soul intends. Beaver Spirit says you can always get busy and build something fresh and new if the desire is true. All manner of miracles can spring up from a new, strong foundation when you remember your partnership with Spirit. Be clear about what you're building and why, choosing from a place of worthiness, well-being, and wholeness. Self-understanding and acceptance will provide you with a solid blueprint to begin again. Get busy now. Beaver Spirit says this is not a time to procrastinate, but a time to start building again. Always mindful of the foundation you are laying, trusting that Spirit is co-creating with you. Don't love that message for myself. I love how I'll get that message and then like try to turn it in my mind and be like, but maybe it means this. And then I'll get it again and be like, nope. And then I'll be like, but maybe it means this. And it's, bitch, if you got this message and you were reading it to your client, you would say, you need to like stop wasting your time. That's what you would say to your client. You would be like, I'm sorry to tell you this. I hate to tell you this. I know you don't want to hear it, and you're probably not going to take my advice, and that's okay. Because you paid me already, and you can do with whatever you want with my advice. But I'm telling you now, you should walk away, babes. And I would be like, thank you, and pay the psychic, and then be like, I'm not walking away. Okay, so the bottom of the deck for the union that's here between the two. You are in the light attributes right now, the two of you, of the engineer, which is the ability to give creative energy a practical expression and a talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. So you're figuring things out in a way that is calm and analytical, and it's not too much of a reliance on mechanistic solutions. You're considering each other's feelings. You're trying to make the best of a shit situation, and you're doing it rather well. Congratulations. Your guardian angel is here to support both of you in stress management. So you're both under a lot of stress. The separation has caused stress between the two of you. You also may be experiencing stress just in your life in general, and we are going through a stressful time. But this is a reminder to practice self-care. We're getting Empress energy again with this fertility card, and this is for the union. So this is a fertile time for the union. This is a good time to plant the seeds to bring this union into its powerful manifestation. Step out of your comfort zone. And this is an emphasis on this card. Step the fuck out of your fucking comfort zone, man. Y'all are boring me right now. Like, get out of the comfort zone. Why are you still there? The Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. I just watched Rocky with my kid. He'd never seen it before. So I can hear the Rocky music playing to that card. Training for this for lifetimes. You're getting Dolphin Spirit. Oh, this card is interesting. And the messages this and that are true, as I recall. Dolphin Spirit, like her earthly manifestation, is a reminder of duality. As the dolphin is both mammal and sea creature, so too is Dolphin Spirit, both this and that. Two truths coexist. The story you tell and another as well. The duality of life is present when we are suffering, for there is a blessing too in the helpers that appear. Within clouds are silver linings. When we later reflect on what happened, we can see that a situation was both this and that, and a choice led to both joy and sorrow. No relationship is either all good or all bad, and people have qualities of both light and shadow. Focus on the positive, for light exists alongside the darkness. Dolphin Spirit calls for you to come up from below and enjoy a weightless moment in the sun as you dive in and out of this and then that, accepting and even enjoying the duality of life. Why not join Dolphin Spirit in acknowledging and affirming the blessings present in this moment? In all areas of your life, there are aspects of both this and that. Today, you can celebrate this fact and recognize the complexity and the beauty of the fabric of the universe. You are at a place right now where your past self is still present as you move toward the new self you are becoming. Aspects of both selves are present, so even if you want to say goodbye to what was, you are required to find solace in this between time. Today is not a day to choose one over another either, but rather to accept things as they are without judgment or resistance. Even in matters of the heart, duality is present. Your next action will be obvious when you drop your bias and see things as a whole. It's such a significant and interesting card. It reminds me in its energy of Two of Swords too, a little bit of just and the Void of Course Moon card that comes out from Moonology as well. All right, let's close this reading with a couple of Island Time Wellness cards that will give us some information just about the things we can do today. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you could please like, subscribe, share, join me on Sundays. You'll be able to ask questions. I know somebody asked if they could get a reading today. On Sundays, I read with Gray Strega, and you're absolutely welcome to ask questions on that day. And we will answer them for you live. Otherwise, you can hit my Gmail at tunedintarot@gmail.com with any personal questions, and we can figure out something that will work for you in terms of a personal reading. I also have a Patreon link below if you are wanting access to additional content for the days of the week that I don't read in the mornings. Alrighty, all the cards are here. Let's look at Divine Masculine. Here is the thing that you have to do today. You're getting love call, seduction, and hammer. Okay, so there's a couple of messages here. The first card says these things. Someone expresses love, a message of love, and thinking of you and letting you know. So it would behoove you to express love to someone, either by actually calling them or in whatever way you have expressed to that person that you are thinking of them. Let them know that. You are then receiving the seduction card, which says attraction, flirting, dating, hooking up, temptation, third-party interference. And then in the hammer card, which is sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, and working on it. So you are needing to work on this third-party interference, which comes not from outside of self. Remember, it comes from inside of self. So you have to go within and do a little bit of that work on what it is that causes you to resist rebuilding this relationship by making this call. You could also take this advice and rebuild this relationship by making this call and asking Divine Feminine to go on a date. That is a good thing that you could do. Okay, cool. Divine Feminine, let's look at you. Please don't hate me. I did not make this deck, though I did purchase it. You're getting the Twin Flames card today. So there's balance, union, duality, coupling, complement each other. We got the duality card and then this and that on the Dolphin Spirit. So there's definitely messages about this duality, complementing one another, balancing. You're also getting abundance. Keep a positive mindset, manifest exactly what you want. Gratitude and bliss, and boat, receiving what you need, progression, arriving, moving on, and closure issues. So here's your message today. Divine feminines in this collective who are pursuing a twin flame. You need to have gratitude for the current state of things, right? The this and that card. So go back after you finish this reading, go back and listen again to the Dolphin Spirit card, because that message is strong for you today. That duality, this and that, being grateful for what you have in this moment, making sure that you are experiencing that is helping you to balance out this twin flame energy and move towards what you need. You are seeking closure issues. You're doing this work on attachment and progression and moving on. So I think you have to be in this state of gratitude for everything you've received from the twin flame journey. And you need to be moving on so that you can receive what it is that's coming next, which is including all of this abundance, right? And then the bottom of the deck for the two of you is photograph. Looking at your photos, missing you, nostalgia, and making new memories. And this is 100% a feeling of the Six of Cups card. So this is reunion. So the choice on the table today is divine masculine. If you choose to ruminate over the issues that you're having with third-party energy blockages, etc., and do your healing, then divine feminine, you must choose to move on from twin flame at this point from a place of gratitude and release from a place of gratitude, understanding that it's blocking your spiritual fulfillment, right? Divine masculine, if you can break through these repetitive sabotaging behaviors, call divine feminine and ask her to go on a date with you, then she can be moving on to the next phase of the relationship with you, which would include this reunion. But if the first case is true, then you must work to release the past, because all you have is the past. You don't have the future, because those are potential memories you're trying to release. And the only thing that's happening in the present is that you're working on yourselves. So that is the tough love message for today. Great. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me here on Tuned In Tarot. I really appreciate you being here with me every day. Thanks to the people that are my ride or dies that have been here since the beginning of this account, which is almost a year ago now that I started this whole journey. And it's been back and forth from Instagram to YouTube and everything. But thank you so much for being here and supporting me. I do appreciate all of you. And if you haven't had a chance to support me, please click that description box. I do have a $3 level on Patreon. It's a small amount for you and really helps me out just to be able to keep doing this for free for you every day. It's something I love to do. Thanks so much and have a blessed day today. Take care, everyone.